Hello everyone. Good soul to all the crew members. I'm Nithyasri from India. I'm very happy to participate in this analog mission conducted by Habitat Marte, Mission 101. Till now, we have seen about many facilities in the Marte like launching pad, health center, engineering center, and so on. Here I am to present about power station. This will be my flow of the talk. I'll just give you the introduction, internal design, technologies necessary for the operation of the installation, possible resources to generate in situ or transported from Earth, organizational structure, positions, profiles and duties, astronaut training program, YouTube videos to train astronauts, guidelines to be provided to other facilities or the entire station, then conclusion, then references. Fine. We are just planning all the analog missions just to colonize the planet to make it a habitable one, like our own planet Earth. We have plenty of ideas to colonize even Venus or some other exoplanets and so on. But why do we colonize Mars? So let's see. There are several strategic, practical, and scientific reasons for humans to explore Mars. Among them, we know that Mars is the most accessible place in the solar system. Additionally, exploring Mars provides the opportunity to possibly answer origin and evolution of life questions and could someday be a destination for survival of humankind. From a practical perspective, we know that Mars is unique across the entire solar system with atmosphere and climate. Its geology is known to be very diverse and complex, and it appears that the climate of Mars has changed over its history. Put together, exploring about Mars and contributing for analog missions of Mars is the best part ever. So there are more advantages in colonizing Mars. So we are just here we go with the power station. As we all know, this is the external view of the power station. Sorry, the external view of the Marte. We have more facilities like engineering center, sanitation center, main station, health facility, so on. Here is the power station, which is connected to engineering facility, greenhouse, sanitation center, and all. From the word power station itself, we can understand that this station is responsible for producing power for the whole habitat or even for the whole Mars. So we should get the energies from the natural sources like solar farm or wind or kilo power and so on. So the power station is connected with the kilo power and solar farm and Moxie here. Without this power station, every other facilities will be questionable without supplying the energy. So every other facilities are dependent on power station. So the internal designing, all the facilities present a circumference shape with 9 meters of diameter and 4 floors. So the internal design will provide certain things like the ground floor has dormitory with beds for astronauts, kitchen, dining room, and restroom, which is very essential and basic requirements for every human being. The center floor has a research and development room. As this is a power station, we have a battery saver area and mission control in the center floor. The third floor has entertainment room like music zone, food court, indoor playing area like chess and badminton. As we all know, everyone will have stress and all that. As to overcome those stresses and everything, we have the entertainment room at the third floor where we can enjoy. And being a astronomer or a sky watcher, it is necessary to observe the sky and to enjoy the tricks and treats, right? So the final floor has telescope fixed in to enjoy the tricks and treats of the night sky. And we all know that arrows of Mars are very different from than that of the Earth. Okay. Also, the final floor has a communication room wherein the astronauts gather for their leisure. Missions, technologies necessary for operation of the installation, solar panels, wind turbines, and nuclear power plants. So from these technologies, we can get electrical energy as food is very important for every human being to survive. Oven is a new technology for cooking process wherein the astronauts can uh, feel easy to cook. So that's all. Okay. Here we go with the NASA's MRO, which finds water flowed on Mars longer than the previous thought. So Mars once rippled with rivers and ponds billions of years ago, providing a potential habitat for microbial life. As the planet's atmosphere thinned over the time, that water evaporated, leaving the frozen desert. Okay. Well, the shape of the certain valley networks hinted that water may have flowed on Mars that recently. The salt deposits provide the first mineral evidence confirming the presence of liquid water. The discovery raises new questions about how long microbial life could have survived on Mars if it is ever formed at all. On Earth, at least, where there is water, there is a life. So many researchers have confirmed the presence of water in it. We can even convert the water into electricity. And also here, there is one article about the NASA's Curiosity rover, which just measures the intriguing carbon signature on Mars. We all know the carbon is very important for every human being and for life. Means starting from the photosynthesis and all, we need carbon. And also we can convert that carbon into electricity. There are many upcoming researchers which converts the carbon into an electricity one. Um, so I just explored these from the NASA's Mars exploration program. In this picture, you can just see the rover captured the image of the carbon present in the Mars. These are all the confirmations of the carbon and water present Mars. Next, solar. As we all know, sun is available and it is the only natural source for the thermal energy. We can just keep the larger solar panels in the Mars. We are all aware that the Mars has no, Mars doesn't have much atmosphere. So there will be dust storms, and even the dust can block the sun, or even the dust can settle in the solar panels, which will lead to more amount of work. So keeping larger solar panels will just help through it. It is preferable to have higher voltage in order to minimize the resistivity losses. Lower solar intensity due to the greater distance of Mars from the sun. Suspended atmospheric dust. It just modifies the solar spectrum and reduces the intensity. Deposition of dust on the array. Yeah, we can also use the wind and convert that wind into the electricity. Every time fixing the wind turbine at the fixed place will lead to some problem, right? So there is always an interesting option like Mars floating wind turbines, in which the turbine we can place it anywhere we want. We can move whenever we want to different locations, and also it will be floating in the air. So it is a horizontal axis wind turbines, lowest cost wind energy solution. So it is the Magnet Power Air Rotator System. Actually, it is a patent one, but I am just mentioning here to provide a better option for the electricity supply. It is a high altitude, lighter than air tether device that rotates about a horizontal axis in response to the wind. The electrical energy is transferred down the tether to transformer at a ground station and then transferred to the electricity power grid. This provides additional lift. Also, it keeps the device stabilized and it keeps it positioned within a very controlled and restricted location. Okay. I have mentioned here my reference of this stuff. It do have more advantage than a normal wind turbine because it is a very low budget one, and we can just expect the actual output from it. The doubling capacity factor, it just cuts down, and the wind farms can be placed closer to the demand centers. Wherever the electricity is needed, we can place it near there. And due to this advantage, it reduces the transmission cost and also the loss. We all know that the space agencies like NASA, it planned for nuclear power plant. So Mars has uranium scattered over on the surface. So we can use that uranium 235 for the nuclear process. Finally, we can get electricity from that. So uranium 235, 93 percentage and 7 percentage molybdenum. The reaction is a fission reaction. The heat transfer will take place. Transfer from heat pipes to free piston, Stirling engines which produce motion to generate electric power. So this output will scale from 1 kilowatts to 100 kilowatts. So these are the sources wherein we can get electricity for the power station and also for the other facilities of the habitat. And also, this is the about the transmission. One more thing is by having energy for every research purpose and all is important, but then still the monitoring is also very important. We have to, it is important to have equipment for the monitoring of the states, energy consumptions, health, voltages, and currents. Also, it will be important to determine the levels of energy consumptions of each station. By knowing this, we can produce energy according to the demand, right? So, additionally, in order to determine the state of the facilities, satellites orbiting Mars can be done. Here we go with the possible resources to generate in situ or transported from Earth. Resources generated in situ, wind turbines. It is possible to generate them by using the materials from Mars regolith. Food, by developing sustainable and renewable ways to produce it. Regolith as a material for it's a additional manufacturing thing. Solar panels, it is possible to reuse the ones used for the transportation system. So it is our choice to use the reused ones, or we can also implement a new solar panels too. Nuclear reactors, which are used during the trip and also for the settlement. And we can take few instrumentations with that instruments with us to the Mars. It is important to bring specific instruments from the Earth. Organizational structure. My organizational structure has the mission commander, power manager, chief engineer, and a researcher. It should be always connected infrastructures, also between the engineering center, allowing redundancy system. Professionals capable to conduct experiments aimed at grid structure or system maintenance. Here are some of the waste management, which are the analysis of what was discovered, equipment recovery, reuse logistic, and the disposal logistic. So the positions will consist of two members, which are the power manager and chief engineer. The power manager is responsible for conducting good practices and awareness, development of monitoring and maintenance schedules. Then the chief engineer is professional strictly qualified to conduct in situ activities, responsible for installation of equipment and Maintenance routine. What are the functions to be engaged at? The head of the structure, there should be some sub chief, analyst, and maintenance. Duties of the chief should be delegate functions, he should give instructions, establish schedules, and promote the rotation between the respective center and the other infrastructure of the habitat. Here is the astronaut training program. Um, as there is a different environment, we need to train the astronomers. So there will be a basic astronaut training, like medical and technical procedures, also agriculture in space, analog training, which is very important so that we can prepare for the operations, life, and work in Mars. Then extravehicular activities training. And also, as this is a power station, we need to train the astronauts in specialized topics of energy generation, distribution, and management. The guidelines to be provided to other facility, limits on power consumption, because we are producing electricity there, and we should use in a proper manner as the energy is needed for every facility there, not only for the power station, but for the every facility, as I mentioned earlier. Setup of additional resources of energy, independent from the main power station, use of efficient devices, constant communication with other facilities of the station, so as to define needs and requirements of the energy. Because we should know the demand of each and every facility, so that there should be some constant communication, and according to that, we can fulfill the needs. Special communications with engineering center means, because the engineering center is responsible for the design and development of devices, so they'll know how much power they need. So there should be some special communication over there. Fine. Let me here conclude. Give me give my conclusion. Overall, many of the key questions in solar system science can be addressed effectively by exploring Mars. This endeavor also serves to inspire the next generation of exploration and dramatically expand human knowledge. The energy should not be wasted, as it is an important source for the research and development. All the facilities should be aware of the energy consumptions and should maintain sustainable development even there in Mars. Power station is very important as everything needs power. Liquid water could be potentially be extracted from ground ice, the atmosphere, or the hydrated minerals. Oxygen can be generated from the carbon dioxide that make up some most of the Mars atmosphere. Colonizing Mars has always a good advantage. Also, if all the facilities in the analog missions or the missions over on the Mars work efficiently, leads to many wonders can be done to make it a habitable one. I just conclude that colonizing Mars is a very good idea, and we have seen about all the facilities and the importance of all the facilities. And um, these are the YouTube link for the astronaut training programs which I have seen, and these are my references. I even referred Mr. Devi, mission of the mission 78 too. And this is my personal contact and on social media. Thank you, Dr. Professor, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I have learned so many things in this meeting. Thanks a lot.